Okay, welcome back. I hope at this stage that everybody's remembering to save off their projects at regular intervals, because we obviously wouldn't want the computer to crash or anything like that and to lose the information that we've got. So if you haven't saved for a while, this might be a good point to do so. Excellent. Okay, so as I said in the previous video, we're now going to add a layer mask to the pattern layer. And if I just bring up the final design, I can show you what that's going to do. If we look around here where the cursor is and the dog's nose, we can see the pattern is fairly solid. And then if we move to our left over a few, a short distance, we can see that the pattern is no longer there. But it hasn't just stopped all of a sudden, it's gradually fading out. And that's exactly what we want to achieve now. And we'll do that by using a layer mask. So I guess the first thing we need to do is actually apply that to the layer. So making sure that we have the pattern layer selected still, of course, we're going to use this little icon here, the black square with the white little circle in, and as you can see there, it's adding a layer mask. So if I just click on there, what will happen is a second thumbnail will appear in the layer, and if we just hover over there, it will tell me that that is the layer mask thumbnail, which is exactly what we want. Basically anything we now create on this layer will appear here, and it will be separate in a way to the actual layer, the content of the layer. So it's not permanently deleting anything, but it will just affect what happens on that layer, but be part of a separate set of information. So to get the opacity of the layer to gradually fade off, what we're going to need to do is create a gradient from white to black, because anything that's white on this layer mask is 100% opaque, and anything that's black is 100% transparent. For example, if I were to, I'll just make sure I select a black here just to demonstrate this. You don't need to do this, I'm just going to demonstrate. I'll just quickly grab a brush here and I'll zoom in and move up to my squares here. Now with this black brush I can just quickly draw on here. I'll just draw a circle and a line across here and another circle, and as you can see, that's actually now, whenever I draw any black on there, it's getting rid of the pattern. So you can do that. Now if I switch the colour to white and start to redraw back over the top of there, what you can see is that's actually drawing back in the pattern. So like I said before, anything that's white will make the layer 100% opaque, whereas anything black will make it 100% transparent. So it follows that if we create a white to black gradient and apply that onto the layer mask, what will happen is the underlying pattern that we have already will then gradually fade out from being 100% opaque to transparent. So after that long-winded description, what we actually need to do is to create a gradient then. So we'll go to the gradient tool here. If you have the paint bucket tool there, you'll just need to hold down the mouse button and make sure you select the gradient tool. And we'll go through the top options here that you'll need. You'll need the first one here selected, which is layer gradient. Mode wants to be normal. Opacity, make sure that is on 100%. Make sure reverse is not ticked, otherwise instead of going from white to black, it'll go from black to white, which is not what we want. The dither, make sure that's ticked, and that transparency is ticked also. So if I just click in here, you can see at the moment we have a black to white gradient. That's not what we want white to black. So what we can do is just grab this first one here and this end one here, which is white, and we'll just switch these around so we have white to black. So that's what you need to do. You need to make sure you have a white to black gradient. You can do this by clicking on the first one here, first little marker here, and making sure that the colour you have here is white. And then if we click on the last one here and click on the colour, just make sure that's black. Okay. So once we have the white to black gradient, we can OK that. I'll just zoom back out so we can see more accurately where we need this gradient to go. So holding down the Shift key, just to make sure that our gradient stays in a straight line, we're going to grab from somewhere around about the 600 pixel mark, somewhere around here. We're going to draw our gradient. I'm going to click, hold the mouse button down and draw our gradient out to the left. So that's basically from where I want the gradient to start, from where I want it to end. And if I let go there, we can see we've done exactly what we need to do. I'll just zoom in so we can get a closer look at that. And move up there using the space bar to move around. You can see now what we have is the pattern is quite solid up to about this point where we started the gradient, and then over to the left it gradually fades out as it follows that gradient from white to black. So I'll just zoom back out again. Now this has affected the whole layer, so if we look down at the footer as well, we can see exactly the same has happened down there as well, because this is all essentially one pattern. We've actually created the layer mask exactly as we want it.